Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the learning conferences, which normally take place in person on a Tuesday afternoon, the day after the first day of school. This is scheduled for the 15th, the evening, and I am recording this on the 10th, the previous Thursday, and we don't have all the information that we're supposed to have, but I have enough of it where I feel confident recording this video. If you feel that there is something missing from this video that you wanted in terms of information, there probably is, and it's probably purposeful. Feel free to shoot me an email at any time during this week. I'll try to answer it to my fullest ability, recognizing that there is still some unknown information. My name is Mr. Kadera, and this is my 11th year teaching, and if you are in the right place, our student is scheduled to be taught either Nonlinear Algebra, Geometry, or AP Calculus BC Edition. Little about me, just up on the screen here. I enjoy cycling. Cycling's always been a part of my life. I've got 2 dogs and a girlfriend, and she's very happy over here on her horse farm. This is a greyhound that we just adopted last year. Her name is Pumpkin. She's very fast and 3 years old. Here's Rally when she was about 6 months old after eating a purple pen. She is adorable and also fast. But that's more or less my immediate family right there. And in terms of my professional history, like I said, this is my 11th year teaching. Started out at Brooklyn Middle School, Osseo Middle School, and this will be my 6th year or 5th year at Maple Grove Senior. I have a teaching license in math, 712, I think, and 912 in chemistry. So I can actually teach science too if you ever see me doing that. The purpose of this is to figure out, who am I and what are we doing this year, more or less. So summer projects, what did I do this summer? Well, I basically did 2 big things. One is I renovated my entire basement. So I made spaces that looked like this with holes in the walls and all that. Well, that's kind of halfway through anyways. Look much more presentable, sans flooring, of course. But I've got everything done except for flooring. And the other major project I did was, I don't know if many of you know, this is the Blaine Velodrome, or I should say this was the Blaine Velodrome because they tore it down this summer. And I salvaged a whole bunch of the track, the racing track version of it. So I have become a bit of a woodworker this summer. So I bought a woodworking shop and I started pulling nails out of boards. And you can imagine how long that took if every board has a nail about every foot or so. That's what I did this summer for the most part. Otherwise, I just chilled and we had a lot of fun. This is my contact information. So if you need to get a hold of me in any way, really through the distance learning format, email is the best way. We've got in person, I'm in room 160. My phone extension, once you dial the main number for Maple Grove Senior, just 50160. That'll get you to my voicemail. I'll just be honest, I'm not checking my voicemail right now remotely, so email is kind of the way to do it right now. In terms of resources for you and your students to follow along, I have a website, I have a YouTube channel, and then Schoology. And I will send out to you a Schoology invite for all parents. Because I don't have that code yet, I can't do that just yet. But more or less, this is how they're all set up. I've got a public website that anyone can view. It's separated by subject area. And right here, I've got my YouTube channel. That covers pretty much everything, and this is what a typical Schoology page is going to look like for our students this year. If we go a little bit further than that, how this course is going to be set up, regardless, because we have to have the flixibility of being able to jump between hybrid and distance learning, I think the most logical answer to that is to run more of a flipped classroom format, meaning that students have videos that provide all the instruction, and then I'm there for support. I hope to change some of that and instruct in person or do some live instructing. In fact, we're required to do some live instructing. Up on this website, one of the things, basically every single resource we have, including the doobly-doo down below this video, should have the link for a live Google Meet with me anytime that I am either available or required to be available, a combination of those two. But basically, no matter what course you're in, this is geometry, but no matter what course you're in, The weeks are going to be listed right here. On the main page, it'll say, here's a folder for week 1. It'll give you the date range and usually the topic. And then within each week, it's separated by day. Within each day, they're going to have a checklist. And then the way this course is going to work is basically there's going to be a note guide that they can choose to use or not. There will be an instructional video of some sort, and there will be a formative assessment of some sort on most instructional days. Outside of that, then we have quizzes and tests. And depending on which course, it'll either be 80-20 formative for nonlinear and 90-10 for geometry, that's summative formative scoring. And calculus will also be 90-10. Basically, everything is duplicated on my website. It provides a permanent and public place for all the resources that we need, especially right in here. We've got the live teaching schedule. So if you're interested in which days I'm going to do a live video, we can look at that, or a recorded video, and then the Google Meet for any time that I am available, in addition to the basics, course syllabus, the first assignment, reassessment agreement, all that fun stuff is just tagged right up the top, and then it's then separated by week as you scroll through to the bottom. Okay, at this point, I want to talk about each individual syllabus. And before I do so, I just want to give a couple notes to the AP Calculus BC people. 2 things that are fairly important. Access codes for AP Classroom, you'll get these on day 1 no matter what. But if you want to log into the AP Board website and log into AP Classroom, depending on which period you're in, there are the codes for that. And the second thing that is very important, because there's a limited time to do that, is textbook distribution is today in the Media Center. If you didn't know that, I really tried to get this information out to you using the summer course, and hopefully they will have rosters loaded on the 13th, and I will try to send out an email to students and parents through Synergy right then and there as well. But if you're viewing this early in the afternoon on Tuesday the 15th, textbook distribution is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now let's go into each individual course. I just want to run through a couple things. So let's do our nonlinear algebra, just because it's right here at the top. It's pretty standard. So we've got an 80-20 summative formative grading scale. You're going to, basically the purpose of nonlinear algebra is to move on from linear algebra. We're going to start talking about curvy things, or things where change is not constant. So when you graph the thing, it's going to have a curve to it somewhere. And we're going to explore quadratics, rationals, radicals, exponentials, a variety of curvy functions that are just kind of the basis of higher level math. We're going to reinforce some of the work that you did in middle school, make sure you can still solve an equation and whatnot, and we're going to learn how to solve some new equations that we haven't been able to solve yet. Here's a breakdown, summative, formative. Reassessments, basically do your work leading up to the test. If you're not quite ready for that, or if you haven't quite fulfilled that, you got to have a conversation with me at some point. But then there's on the website, you'll see a reassessment application where it just asks you to reflect upon your work, fix it, and then just have a short conversation with me to make sure that you're reassessment ready. And once all those boxes are ticked, I will get you doing a reassessment in some way or another. Other than that, if you're really interested in know what conduct expectations or tardies or truancies, again, this syllabus is posted right up on the website. The first day of school, your student will have a couple assignments. They're just going to ask you to go to a Google form and fill out a couple things. Just make sure that you've read the syllabus and you know where our website is and that sort of thing, and how the class is structured. If we go to geometry, there's not much else that's different. Here's 2 additional things right there. Required hardware for the course actually is a compass and a straight edge, and that's going to be actually pretty important this year because we can't share stuff. You don't need that right away, but a compass and a straight edge is necessary for the course, I think in chapter 2, 3, 4, somewhere in there. Not necessarily the first chapter, but soon. This is a 90-10 summative formative breakdown. Retakes work basically the same way, and again, they're going to have the same assignment on the first day, is to visit the website and fill out the Google form. Otherwise, we're good. AP Calculus BC is the most complicated one, of course, because it is for college credit. There are 10 chapters. Here they are, if you're curious. And there are 4 big ideas that we're going to explore throughout the year. Basically, the idea of calculus is to examine, I like this actual sentence right here. Calculus is the examination of change through the use of infinity and infinitesimals. This course is going to focus on single variable calculus techniques, and we're going to talk about limits, differentiation, integration, and the behavior of series. The 2 topics that are BC specific, so this is going to be equivalent to roughly 2 semesters of college calculus work. We're going to talk about parametric polar and vector functions and series behavior. Both of those are BC only topics, and we're going to try as best we can to squeeze that into the days that we have. This is just more about the course. I would suggest giving the syllabus a read. It's again on the website. And you will need right in here a graphing calculator. That's going to be our big one right there. So absolutely necessary that you have a calculator, graphing calculator, and that you know how to use it. Hopefully you got my email over the summer about my opinions on graphing calculators, but if you didn't, here are my opinions on graphing calculators. We're written right into the syllabus for you. It's a 90-10 summative formative breakdown, just like before. Reassessment works basically the same way. And there's just going to be some more. It's just going to be a relatively intense course, especially the longer we go distance learning, the less time I have to interact and really expand upon what is published by the AP board. But it's going to be basically run the same way every single time. There'll be notes available. There will be a instructional video, and there will be a formative assessment each day. And then we will have 10 tests throughout the year, which I think breaks down to about 2 or 3 weeks every time. Anyway, I hope to see many of our students in face-to-face conversations in about, 2 weeks' time? The 28th of September, if you're watching this. So I hope that happens. If it doesn't, we'll continue on with the distance learning method, and I will I'll try to be as good as I can about communicating whatever changes happen to parents and students. With that, have a good evening.